On Sunday, 18 December 2022, Stephen McCullagh appeared to be at home in Lisburn, presenting a 6-hour video as a live broadcast. It became his alibi for the time Natalie McNally was murdered at her home in Lurgan. But the court found the video had been recorded days earlier, and CCTV would show something the screen could not. McCullagh traveling from Lisburn to Lurgan and back. The contradiction is immediate, a digital performance of staying home against a physical journey recorded by cameras. The question is how that performance was built, and how far the deception extended beyond it. Before tracing that journey, there is Natalie. She was expecting a son her family called Dean. The court records that she and McCullagh had been in a relatively short relationship beginning around August 2022. In statements summarized by the sentencing judge, her family described her as strong-minded, smart, supportive, loving, caring, fun, and independent. Those words matter because a manufactured alibi can turn a case into a story about technique. It was not. The evidence tells us how a deception failed. Natalie is why the case cannot end with the cleverness of that deception or with the man who made it. The first crack in the video was its recording date. According to the court, McCullagh recorded the 6-hour video across 14 and 15 December, then presented it on the 18th, the day Natalie was murdered. A file shown on Sunday could create the impression of Sunday presence without proving where its creator physically was. The record establishes planning behind the video. It does not establish one single motive for the murder or for making it. That uncertainty does not change what the dates prove. The apparent live presence had been manufactured before Sunday. To work as an alibi, the recording had to feel current. The sentencing judge described a video carefully curated to appear live. It contained references that matched the day it would be shown, while live interaction was made unavailable. Those choices created a continuous, 6-hour performance of being somewhere else. The court's finding is specific. The pre-recorded video was designed to provide what looked like a complete alibi. The software used is not established, and it is not needed. The mechanism was pre-recorded time arranged to be mistaken for the present. Then the performance left the screen. When police arrived after Natalie's murder, McCullagh invoked the video as his alibi. The court records that he continued relying on it with police and in conversations with Natalie's family. That does not mean investigators accepted it as true. It means the explanation was ready and repeatable. This is the change. The recording was no longer only a misleading upload. It had become an account of his whereabouts, built in advance and used after the killing. The detailed route came from CCTV. The court said cameras traced McCullagh from close to his home in Lisburn to Dunmurry, then onto a bus for Lurgan, and onward toward Natalie's address. Later, footage followed the return journey by taxi to Lisburn. This reconstruction does not depend on inventing a street-by-street path or treating a map as evidence. Its force is the ordered sequence itself. The opening contradiction now has a physical form. While the video created an appearance of staying home, cameras recorded movement out of Lisburn, into Lurgan, and back again. The return time and the phone belong in the same comparison. The court placed McCullagh back home at 11:13 p.m. His phone, inactive during the broadcast, became active again at 11:16, 3 minutes later. That does not mean the phone independently traced him along the CCTV route. The reviewed record does not support that claim. It supplies a second timeline instead. Silence during the false live appearance, then renewed activity immediately after the documented return. It is corroboration, not a substitute for the route itself. Other digital evidence sat on either side of the journey. On the day of the murder, McCullagh searched TransLink timetables for a bus from Dunmurry to Lurgan, and for a train from Lurgan to Lisburn. The searches show the directions he investigated. They do not prove that he completed a train journey. After the 6-hour video ended, the court found that he deleted it to the recycle bin and then emptied the bin in an attempt to erase it. Before the journey, route searches. After the alibi had served its purpose, deletion. McCullagh gave police another explanation. He said he checked the timetables because Natalie wanted him to use public transport more, and because he was considering a Christmas Eve journey. That remains his account, not a fact attributed to Natalie. The court examined the actual search directions and found them entirely inconsistent with his explanation. The comparison was concrete. The destination searched could be set beside the route CCTV had already established. By then, the false live stream looked like the center of the plan. The second major reveal is that it was only one part of it. The court found that McCullagh also constructed a false trail toward one of Natalie's former partners, an innocent man, and continued trying to implicate him through the trial. He will not be named here, and the accusation will not be repeated as an open possibility. The court called him innocent. This changed the scale of the deception. It was not only an attempt to place McCullagh at home, but an effort to direct suspicion towards someone else. The deception also reached into Natalie's family. After the murder, the court found that McCullagh maintained the pretense, accepted the family's care, misled them, and covertly recorded private family conversations. Those recordings are not needed here. Replaying them would turn private grief into evidence theater. What matters is the conduct the court established. While the family was trying to support a man they believed was grieving with them, he was still managing the story around them. The alibi did not end when police left the scene or when the broadcast disappeared. No single clue had to prove everything. The recording dates, the way the video was constructed, CCTV, the phone, the timetable searches, the deletion and the false trail, each answered a different question. Together, they reversed the alibi. Digital appearance against physical movement, his explanation against the directions searched, and the performance against what he did before and after it. That convergence leads to the legal result. On 23 March 2026, a jury at Belfast Crown Court unanimously convicted Stephen McCullagh of murdering Natalie McNally. On 3 June, the court imposed a life sentence with a minimum term of 31 years before release can be considered through the parole process. It does not mean automatic release after 31 years. The legal outcome was exact: a unanimous murder conviction, a life sentence, and a 31-year minimum term. A sentence can close a criminal proceeding. It cannot restore the future that was taken. In statements summarized by the judge, Natalie's family described her as loving, funny, intelligent, compassionate, and fiercely independent. They described a permanent absence, including the life she expected with Dean. The evidence exposed a false performance, but the ending belongs to Natalie, Dean, and the family who continue to carry their loss.